You've been told that men fall in love with your looks, your body, or how available you are. But that's not the truth. The real reason a man falls hard, deeper than even he understands, is because of something far more powerful. It's not about chasing him. It's about triggering a feeling in him he can't explain, but can't walk away from either. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what that is and why, once you do this, he won't be able to stop thinking about you. A man doesn't fall in love because of how good you look or how impressive your resume is. He may be drawn to you at first for those reasons, but that's not what creates a deep emotional bond. What truly pulls a man into love is how he feels when he's around you. Specifically, whether he feels emotionally safe in your presence. Emotional safety is not about being soft or agreeable all the time. It's about creating an atmosphere where both of you can be authentic. When he senses that he can express himself without being judged, without being belittled, and without being controlled, something shifts inside him. He starts to lean in because he finds peace in that connection. Love isn't built through pressure, it's built through presence. And when you become a safe space for him to land emotionally, you become the person he can't get off his mind. That's when love starts to take root. Most people think men are emotionally shut down, that they don't want to talk, don't want to connect, don't want depth. But the truth is, many men have just never felt truly safe to do those things. Society has told them to be strong, to be silent, to never show weakness. So when you come into his life and you're different, you don't force him to open up, you don't punish him for being vulnerable, and you don't use his honesty against him. That's when he notices you're rare. You're not trying to fix him. You're not trying to parent him. You're just being with him. And that presence feels like oxygen to someone who's had to emotionally hold their breath for years. And he may not even realize what's happening at first. But internally, his heart starts to soften. That softening, that's where love is born. Creating emotional safety doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior or lacking boundaries. In fact, it's the opposite. It means you can express your standards without hostility. You can say no without guilt. You can share your feelings without turning them into accusations. This maturity creates emotional stability, and stability is deeply attractive to a man who's tired of surface level drama. It doesn't mean you never disagree. It means you know how to navigate disagreement with grace. It shows him that your connection doesn't collapse the moment things get hard. That kind of grounded energy gives him permission to bring his full self to the relationship, not just the polished performative version. And when he can be real with you without fear, he begins to trust you. Trust is the foundation of emotional intimacy, and emotional intimacy is what creates lasting love. Sometimes emotional safety is felt most in your silence, not the cold, passive-aggressive kind, but the kind that holds space. When he shares something vulnerable and you don't immediately jump in to fix it or judge it, he feels something different. That silence communicates, I'm here, I'm listening, you're safe. It's subtle but powerful. Most people listen to respond, not to understand. But when you're the person who listens to understand, with empathy, with presence, he will crave your energy. He'll start to associate you with peace. Not boredom, not weakness, but peace. And peace is the thing so many people are silently starving for. When your energy becomes a place of calm in a chaotic world, you don't need to ask someone to love you. They'll want to keep you close without even knowing why. Emotional safety also shows up in how you respond to his emotions. And when he's stressed, frustrated, or even withdrawn, do you take it personally? Or do you hold space for him to work through it while still maintaining your own balance? If every time he has a bad day, you get angry or insecure, he learns that emotional expression is unsafe. But if you can say, I see you're going through something, I'm here when you're ready to talk, it builds trust. Not because you're fixing him, but because you're not making it about you. That emotional neutrality is rare and incredibly attractive. It lets him know he doesn't have to perform or pretend with you, that he can be human. That kind of connection, raw, real, non-judgmental, is what allows love to deepen and grow. One of the most beautiful things you can do for a man is allow him to be soft. Society often robs men of softness. They're taught that emotions are weaknesses and that vulnerability makes them less masculine. But real masculinity isn't about hiding. It's about owning your truth without shame. When a man meets a woman who allows him to drop the mask and still sees him as strong, he experiences something powerful. He feels honored, not emasculated. And that emotional experience creates attachment. He'll want to protect you, provide for you, cherish you, not because he has to, but because he feels deeply connected to you. When you meet his depth with depth, you stop being just a nice person or a pretty face, you become unforgettable. Men fall in love not when things are perfect, but when they feel like they don't have to be perfect around you. That's when a man can be messy and still feel accepted. He sees that your love is real. So many people only know conditional love. Love that exists when things are good, when behavior is flawless, when the mask stays on. But unconditional emotional safety says, I'm not here for the performance, I'm here for the person. That creates loyalty. That builds emotional intimacy. That kind of love isn't loud, it's quiet, steady, and grounding, and it lasts. Because love based on safety doesn't burn out. It grows stronger over time. It's important to remember that emotional safety doesn't mean being a doormat. It means being emotionally intelligent. You can love him deeply while still honoring yourself. In fact, your ability to create emotional safety starts with you feeling emotionally safe with yourself. You can't offer calmness if you're living in internal chaos. You can't offer understanding if you haven't given it to yourself. So do the inner work, regulate your own emotions, honor your boundaries, and learn to self-soothe. When you show up whole, you naturally create a space that invites others to be whole too, and that is incredibly magnetic. He'll feel that energy and be drawn to it. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Many women think they need to be low maintenance to keep a man interested. But emotional safety has nothing to do with shrinking yourself. It's not about avoiding conflict or pretending you don't have needs. It's about how you express them. When you communicate with clarity instead of chaos, directness instead of drama, you show emotional maturity. But inside, he'll know this is different, this is real, this is home. Confidence isn't about walking into a room and thinking you're better than everyone else. It's walking in and not needing to compare yourself to anyone. When a woman radiates confidence, it doesn't just show in how she speaks, but in how she carries herself, how she makes decisions, how she responds to the world around her. A confident woman doesn't beg for attention, she commands it without even trying. She doesn't try to prove her worth to a man because she already knows she's valuable. And this energy, it's magnetic. It pulls the right kind of man closer and silently tells him, you're lucky to know me. She doesn't chase, because she's not coming from lack. She doesn't compete because she knows what she brings to the table. This quiet power is what makes a man sit up, pay attention, and realize he's found someone rare. When you operate from a place of self-worth, you change the entire dynamic of how love enters your life. You're no longer waiting for someone to choose you. You're choosing too. You're observing, evaluating, and making sure that the person in front of you aligns with the life you're building. That's confidence. That's power. When a man sees that you're not driven by desperation, but discernment, it challenges him in the best way. He can't just show up with a smile and expect to be let in. He has to show depth, consistency, and effort. And that effort doesn't repel the right man. It attracts him. And this is what makes her unforgettable. When you stop seeking validation from men, something incredible happens. You start attracting the kind of man who validates himself. He's not looking for someone to inflate his ego or fill a void. He's looking for a partner, not a fan. And the way you show up tells him everything he needs to know. If you're constantly adjusting yourself to be what you think he wants, you send the message that your value is flexible, that it depends. But when you show up as you are, fully, honestly, unapologetically, you give him something real to fall in love with. Not an image, not a performance, but you. And that's what sticks. That's what stands out. That's what makes him realize he's dealing with someone different. Confidence isn't loud, but it's clear. It shows in the boundaries you set, in the energy you protect, and in the way you respond to being treated well or poorly. A confident woman doesn't beg for time, chase for attention, or over-explain her worth. She lets her actions speak. She walks away when respect is missing. She celebrates herself when no one else claps. This level of self-containment is rare and incredibly attractive because men are used to women who bend over backwards for a shred of attention. But when you become the woman who chooses herself, who doesn't fold at the first sign of rejection, he realizes you're not in this to be chosen. You're in this to connect with someone who deserves the connection. In a world full of people trying to impress, a confident woman does something radical. She stays true to herself. She knows that true love can't be earned through performance, only through authenticity. She's not worried about being too much or not enough because she understands that the right person will see her and meet her with the same energy. This doesn't mean she never feels fear or insecurity. She just doesn't let those things drive her decision. And that emotional steadiness is what makes a man feel like he can relax with her. He doesn't have to decode her feelings, manage her self-worth, or constantly reassure her. That emotional maturity, it's what separates her from the rest. When you know your worth, you stop negotiating with people who don't. You don't try to prove yourself to someone who's lukewarm because it shows him that if he wants a place in your life, he has to show up fully, not half in, not maybe, not when he's ready. He has to choose you the way you choose yourself. It's easy to confuse confidence with being closed off, but they're completely different. Confidence says, I'm open to love, but I'm not afraid to be alone. It's not walls, it's standards. You can still be soft, romantic, playful, and feminine while also being firm in your boundary. In fact, that combination is what drives men wild. You're not ice cold. You're warm, but you won't burn yourself out trying to earn someone's affection. That balance is rare. It's what makes a man feel challenged, but also safe. He knows that if he steps up, he'll be received with open arms, but only if he brings the right energy. And that keeps him showing up, not because he's afraid to lose you, but because he wants to keep earning you. Men don't fall in love with women who lose themselves in love. They fall in love with women who stay themselves in love, who maintain their identity, their dreams, their purpose, even while building a connection. A confident woman doesn't sacrifice her passions for a relationship. She integrates love into her already full life. That's what makes her stand out. She doesn't need a relationship to complete her. And because of that, any love she gives is free, not needy. She's a partner, not a project. A lover, not a lifeline. And that emotional independence isn't intimidating to the right man. It's inspiring. It makes him want to bring more to the table, to match her energy, to meet her in the middle. The moment you stop asking, does he like me, and start asking, do I like him, you shift the power back into your hands. That shift changes everything. You stop trying to win him over and start seeing if he's even worth your time. That mindset is what keeps your standards high and your self-worth intact. And men can feel it. When you're not anxiously waiting for him to validate you, but instead calmly observing if his actions align with your values, you stand out. You become the woman who doesn't settle, the woman who challenges him to rise, the woman who won't be swayed by potential but waits for consistency. And that's exactly the kind of woman a man falls hard for, even if he didn't expect to.